Belendiez, and this is the E-volve Show. And today we're going to be talking about style. And for that reason, we have brought a stylist coach from Los Angeles. Her name is Rayne Parvis. Rayne Parvis is a Los Angeles native, a wife, mom, a certified style coach, personal stylist, media personality, and author of The Ultimate Guide to Style. Hi, Rayne. How are you?
I'm perfect. How are you?
I'm great. After a few difficulties, technical difficulties, now we got it. So we're ready to start. Would you
Absolutely.
you would like to tell them, all the viewers, a little bit about yourself and your business? I'm super excited about this conversation. I have to tell you. I think it's going to be like really valuable for all the audience.
Oh, I appreciate you having me. I'm so excited to be here. I am a personal stylist and style coach. And style coach means that I mix life coaching skills with fashion styling to help everybody improve not only their outward appearance, but also their confidence. So that's why I'm really excited to be part of this summit. I've been styling out here in Los Angeles for the past 10 years. I have partnerships with branding agencies, award-winning photographers, Nordstrom. The list goes on. And my whole goal is just to help everybody look and feel a little bit more fabulous.
That is so great. I think it's just so important. And then I was going to ask you, would you always feel like confident and stylish, or there was a moment on your life that you were like, oh, well, like I need to change this, or I don't feel really good about myself, so just start working on it? How was your background about that? Why did you decide to start this business?
Sure. So in high school, I was very, very, very insecure. I was taller than everybody else. My boobs were bigger than everybody else. My nose was bigger than everybody else. And I just really didn't like who I was, which I know a lot of high school students don't. So I would use fashion, whether it be piercings in my face or colored hair or black, to kind of like distract from my appearance, because I felt that like if I distracted with these avant-garde dressing, then people wouldn't really pay attention to me or they wouldn't make fun of me. Cut to my 20s, I was also doing stand-up comedy, which is was a lot of fun. So then I learned how to make fashion to help people laugh. So I've always kind of used fashion as a tool. But again, now being in Los Angeles, there's always going to be someone that's either younger, hotter, more successful, whatever it is, makes more money, whatever it is. So you just kind of have to pull the tools, no matter how old you are, how young you are, to kind of feel great about yourself and to really look on the inside and find confidence there, versus just relying on your looks or your fashion or your dress. So I really feel that once you build up somebody's inside, that will definitely help with their confidence and their appearance on the outside.
Yeah, that's so important. I think it's so valuable, because I feel like, yeah, confidence is just what you were saying. Like it comes from inside instead of outside. And it was funny when you were saying like, oh, I was taller than everybody else, because I'm very short. And it was very funny because I have a story. Once I met a woman, and when I look at her, for me it was like she was like a model, like a magazine model. I was like, oh my God, she's like so tall, so beautiful, like she was perfect. And then I start talking to her, and she come to me and she's like, I wish I was like you, and I'm not like a giraffe, as how I am. Everybody's looking at me, and I was like thinking, are you serious? Like, oh, you always want what you don't have, so it's very interesting, this part of the confidence. It has to be what you were saying, like you really have to like who you are instead of like your looks or things like that, right?
Absolutely. So in addition to kind of piggybacking on what you were saying, I've probably styled hundreds of women, all shapes, sizes, and I can literally tell you that everybody, whether they're a model or an actress or size 0 or size 24, they all have something that they don't like about themselves and they tend to focus on it. So it's so important for everybody to know that confidence has nothing to do with how you look, because even by today's beauty standards, I can be styling a model and they could be the most self-confident, I mean, the most unself-confident person in the room. And it just kind of makes them, it's just so funny. We're all struggling with something. So it's just important for us to learn the tools so we can help defeat that.
Totally. So yeah, that will be the first step, like just working yourself and like yourself, and what you were saying, like no focusing in the things that you don't like about yourself. Just try to find the things that you like and focus more in that. That's so important. But also I think it's very interesting, because coming from a stylist, I think it's very important to touch that, like how you look or how you play. I like what you were saying, like you use that tool to get attention or things like that, right? So the image is important.
Absolutely. And I think that when I was in high school and I wasn't so secure with myself, I used fashion for a more of a negative aspect versus using it for a positive. So we all have to wear clothes every day. So it's either going to work for us, our goals and our purpose, or it's going to work against us, or it's going to do absolutely nothing at all. So you might as well pick the tools to learn how to use your fashion to, whether it be a little bit more happier or attract, if I'm dressing for a date, it's going to be different than how I dress for a job interview. Or if I wake up and I'm feeling horrible, the colors that I put on are going to help improve that or give into it and make me feel even worse. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. So it's more like it's fashion for yourself, to feel good with yourself instead of like showing to other people, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I mean, there's so many different tools and tricks that you can use in order, for example, yellow, the shirt that I'm wearing today, it automatically makes everybody a little bit more happier. So when you pay attention to a Subway logo, a Subway logo or something like that, and Carl's Jr., it's a happy star. So I'm using my fashion to make people smile at this moment, whether you know it or not.
Yeah, it is true. So it's like you have to learn to use those tools. And that was a thing I think it's important to mention. It's something you can learn, because I have people or friends that they were like, oh, I'm like this, I don't care about style, or I don't care about fashion. But then they're like, oh, you're so stylish, I like this t-shirt, or I like this. I'm like, well, everybody can do it, like you can actually learn about it. And also I'll say, like, be brave to wear something you don't feel comfortable one day and see how it feels. Maybe next day it feels better. So what will be your input in that?
Just like when we go to do our makeup and we're amplifying our best qualities, when we go to dressing our body, we have to amplify our favorite qualities and not focus on our not so favorite parts. So for example, if you do not like the way that your butt looks, well, in order to camouflage that or to draw less attention to it, you can wear darker colors and wear brighter colors on your most favorite parts. And that's going to automatically draw your eye away when you look in the mirror, as well as everybody else's. In addition to, let's get down to, okay, why don't you like certain parts of yourself? So for example, I talked to you about, Belen, how I hated how big my boobs were in high school. Okay. Now I'm 34 double D and they're still little, they still get on my nerves sometimes. However, I try to reframe the situation and be like, okay, I live in Los Angeles. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of women out here that get paid big money to have big boobs like me, right? So I just try to I try to reframe the situation, and I have a small waist. So versus like getting dressed and like, oh gosh, because almost all of my clothes, if you guys go to my website, you'll see my full body, this and that. All of my clothes have to be tailored on the waist because I'm smaller on the bottom than on the top. And you really just learn to reframe the situation versus focusing in on why you hate a part of you. So for example, if you're not into your booty, right? Well, J-Lo made a whole career out of it. So did Kim Kardashian. So you all should learn how to dress it and work it versus hating it so much. Does that make sense?
Oh, totally. Yeah. And what you were saying, like, it's just funny because everybody wants what they don't have. And it's like, start liking how you are. That's the best, like, the most important thing. And then dressing up, as you say, like with tips or learning about things to dress, like to fit your body.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So it also comes back to playing up certain aspects of the way that you dress. Another thing with confidence is to remind yourself. So, for example, it's literally the more you train yourself to flip the switch and change the station, so called, the easier it will be as you think negative thoughts. So if you write down 3 positive qualities inside and outside that you love about yourself, and literally you write it down, you keep it on a sticky note or index card, you put it on your dashboard when we can all drive again. And anytime when you start to have negative thoughts, literally just read some of those great thoughts. Because like you said, there's people out there that always want what you have, or what, the grass is always greener on the other side. So if you just really focus in on what you have and those great qualities, then the lesser ones will start to become not so forward, and they'll start to like go in the background.
Yeah, that's totally true. And then since now you're giving some advice, like what my question is, like, for example, for the viewers who don't care about fashion, or they feel like, well, it's something I can start learning, like what will be the first things to learn or to move into start dressing like better, or like more stylish or more fun?
Sure. So I would have to say, I always like to know why someone's not into fashion. So, for example, when I hear the word fashion, I think that it has a really negative, snooty, label driven kind of embodiment where I use fashion and style to uplift people and make them feel good and change people's perception of themselves. So you really have to start changing your mind and not thinking fashion is what we find in consumerism or in the magazines or on television, but think about fashion as going in partnership with your body and your attitude to send a current message to the world versus, oh, I just have to look hot and sexy or like a supermodel. Because when we use it for us, I think that your perception and your excitement will start to change. Did that make sense, or did I just ramble?
No, totally. Yeah, it makes
Okay.
sense. And I feel also like when we say like fashion or style, like it doesn't have to be like dresses and super fancy things. Like it can be stylish with just a t-shirt and some jeans. Like that's normally like my day a day.
I love me some t-shirt and jeans. For those of you who follow me on Instagram, I'm always in vintage t-shirts and kimonos, and you can be casual, but you don't have to be sloppy. So if you're literally just starting your friendship with fashion, start with finding your outfit formulas that you feel good in. And another thing, for example, if you love jeans and t-shirts, another way to make them more stylish is most women stop with just the jean and the shirt, right? Once you add certain layers, so that could be a necklace, a watch, a kimono, a blazer, a cardigan, a moto jacket, whatever. When you start to add the layers on just your basic foundation, that's when you start to look super stylish and becomes really easy and fun.
Yeah, that's so cool. And then I was like, I just love this subject, so I'm just gonna go over. I have some friends also asking me like, how do you choose your style? What will you, because sometimes like, you see a person in a magazine or like a famous or something, like how would you choose what style is your style, like more sporty or more elegant? What would be your input in
I
that?
would have to say, to start with, find out. So for example, us image consultants and style coaches, we all use personality style types, and there's 5 of them to start with. And then you can kind of go on to like the sporty, the edgy, this and that. But start with the 5 basics, and then you can build upon that and find out, what do you feel great in? So for example, Belen, you were saying you feel great in jeans and a t-shirt. So your personal style may be casual, but there's also different elements of that. And so I always like to say, let's pick 3 vocabulary words, and then let's make that our personal style. So for example, mine is creative, down to earth, and fun. So my style is all about those things. Yellow is fun. It's kind of creative with the jewelry that I wear. So even if I'm in a business suit, that business suit is going to have elements of my personal style, which could be, maybe instead of a black heel, I'm definitely going to probably put on a leopard print heel, and then that will make the whole outfit a little bit more me. So you always want to add an element of Belen or Rayne or whoever's watching this, just add something that's a little bit you. In order to find that, all it is take little steps to say, hey, what outfit do I feel good in, and how can I build from there?
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, you have to add something that is your own, because so the way you will feel like you're dressing up like carnival or something like that. If you don't take it easy, people take it easy, don't get crazy
Yeah.
the first day.
Yes, little steps. And so when I was cleaning out someone's closet, they had so many things with tags on it, and she would buy a lot of stuff that she saw her like an Instagram influencer wearing. And this woman, she was about 35 years old, 3 kids, but the influences that she was following were 20-year-olds. So I said, well, why are you following 20-year-olds and buying fashion that a 20-year-old would buy when they don't have kids? They have a totally different mindset. They're not, picking up a 5-year-old and, X, Y, and Z. They don't live by the beach. they're not walking, you're not going to want to walk in 5-inch heels all day long. And so then I recommended to her to follow people that fit her lifestyle. Does that make sense?
Yes, totally.
So that helps save with like, okay, you're not trying to be like an Instagram influencer. Go with somebody that has more your style.
Your lifestyle and your age, that's another thing. Like, so you don't feel like, because another thing, like I have a cousin, for example, that she always look much older than me, and it's my age, but because she always dressed like with very professional outfits and very formal. So it also depends what your work is and things like that. So that image helps you to give that a formality, I guess. Like if you are a lawyer, you're gonna dress different. Like you have to
absolutely. But then even with, I do have clients that are lawyers and doctors and a courtroom, they're in the courtroom, and we make it more their style because they have to be in a suit by the cuts and maybe like a different shell or a ring or jewelry, there's always a purpose for everything. So yes, you definitely have to find your purpose, but there's always a way to make a suit or whatever you have to wear a little bit more you. Yeah.
Nice. That's so cool. That's great. And would you like to talk a little bit about your book? Because I know you have a book, and I think it's going to be very valuable too for the audience to know about it.
Sure. My book is called Ultimate Guide to Style from Drab to Fab, and it helps women who are just kind of starting their friendship with fashion learn how to dress for job interviews, their body shape, coloring, so many different great tips in there. And I think it's available on Amazon for as low as $2.99.
That's great. Well, I invite you all guys to get that book so you guys can start. And then Rayne is also offering a freebie for you that we'll have on the email, the link. Do you want to talk about it?
Sure. The exercise is called Learning to Love Yourself. It's an exercise that I use with a lot of my clients, and it just goes deeper into what I was already talking about today about picking out your vocabulary words that make you feel fabulous. What happens when you look in the mirror, affirmations. It's just a great confidence plan to boost it, and then to remind yourself about how great you are.
That is so cool. I think I'm just gonna get it too, so we can start working on that.
Yay!
That is really nice. Well, Rayne, thank you so much for your time and for all this valuable information that you share with us.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
Yeah, bye.